blasts ISIS stronghold, look what was inside. Since taking command, President Trump has stepped up the fight against ISIS, and the terrorist group is almost completely destroyed. The Washington Examiner is reporting that American airstrikes destroyed a building in Syria that officials suspect was being used by ISIS to produce chemical weapons. The building was destroyed as U.S.-backed forces in Syria continue to conquer the ISIS capital of Raqqa. American forces destroyed the chemical weapons facility out of concern that desperate ISIS fighters would resort to using their crude chemical weapons as they continue to lose ground in their de facto capital city. ISIS fighters are losing ground daily, and about 45% of Raqqa has been captured by Syrian Democratic forces. We know that ISIS has proven in Iraq that they are willing to use chemical weapons, explained military spokesman Colonel Ryan Dillon, from Baghdad. We have not seen the use of chemical weapons in Syria, but we don't want to wait for them to use it either, Dillon added. The chemical weapons factory near Deir az-Zor was one of several targets hit during a series of airstrikes launched last Monday. Nearby oil stills and storage facilities were also struck by airstrikes, putting additional strain on the desperate ISIS fighters. The terrorist organization has only developed crude and ineffective chemical weapons utilizing conventional industrial chemicals. Unlike their neighbors in the Syrian government, ISIS does not have the ability to produce more precise chemical weapons like sarin gas. Largely, they have been rudimentary and have not had a significant effect on the overall campaign, said military spokesman Colonel Dillon. He added that the weapons are more similar to airborne irritants than deadly gas. Whenever American forces discover ISIS chemical weapon plants, they take action. ISIS does not have the ability to produce deadly and effective toxins, but we cannot grant them the space to advance their technologies. We do not want them to get good at this, Colonel Dillon explained. So any time that we find or know that ISIS has stockpiles or have put together anything that can be used to make these weapons, we will strike them. The U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces launched their campaign against the ISIS capital of Raqqa in early June and have successfully liberated almost half of the terrorist-controlled city. Coalition forces have advanced from the east and west and are slowly fighting to meet in the middle, cutting off ISIS access to the Euphrates River. Reuters reports that over 90% of the southern portions of Raqqa have been liberated by America-backed forces. A few narrow streets separate coalition forces from the east and west, and are the only ISIS access routes to clean water. Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi of Iraq declared the full liberation of the former ISIS capital of Mosul on July 9. Raqqa is the only major stronghold controlled by the terrorist organization, and American-backed forces are on the verge of taking the city. After hitting their peak in 2014, ISIS is almost completely destroyed thanks to President Trump.